I've got 2 at school, and I'm prominent in the WhatsApp group.
You're the main, the leader.
One finds him funny.
Every WhatsApp group has a splinter group.
There's
I
always
think
a
that's
splinter
fair
group.
enough.
Yeah.
And we play five-a-side football. Get a five-a-side football going. That's good for morale.
I'm not going to start.
I play on Sundays with all the dads. But
That's
they're
amazing.
all a bit older. They're all about 45. I'm 36. I'm not a prime Messi.
It's weaving
I've
round.
got that turn of pace that a 45-year-old, no matter how fit they are. It's
Why are
unbelievable.
all the dads so old?
I don't know. I think I'm from South East London. We start early.
Going early on it. Josh Widdicombe and Rob Beckett, Parenting Hell podcast. Welcome to the show. Welcome to Home Time. I feel conflicted with you guys being on because my partner Katie is obsessed with you both and your podcast. So every time in our lounge, it's like, well, Josh was saying this the other day, or Rob was saying that. I almost want to turn around to her and say, if you love them so much, why don't you marry them?
Well, yeah, I mean, that's quite an extreme.
Yeah.
Lou and Rose
Quite
might
a
get
weird
the
marriage as well. 3 divorces.
Yeah, well, we get a lot of that going. I like geezers sort of go, like you said it in a nice way. They'll go, I don't really like you, but my wife likes you.
But it's been a phenomenon. Has it gone, the podcast itself, has it kind of exceeded your expectations, the pair of you guys?
I wanted more.
Yeah.
I'm slightly disappointed how slow it's grown, really.
But yeah, it's basically just a way to get out of looking after our kids.
Yeah.
And then it's just sort of it went a bit mental, and yeah, loads of people listen.
The podcast, obviously, it's now become a book out today.
Yes,
You've
out
got the
today.
arena tour as well, which is almost sort of like a big support group, really. People turning up to arenas to see you two messiahs.
Yeah.
Well, I doubt that, but I think the thing with the book, we because we have got a bit of a community now, and it was in lockdown when it started, so it was all sort of in it together.
Yeah.
And then we didn't want to just do a cash-in book like you must have them in here. They're ghost written. They don't even know what's on the cover.
Piles of them around the corner.
Yeah. They shuffle in and they don't know what they're talking about. But we've written this together, and it's all the stories that we haven't done on the podcast because we didn't want to recycle all the old stuff. Because it's all my kids was like 2 and 4 when we started, so I had like 3 or 4 years of stuff pre-kids and when they were really little, really funny stories that we wanted to put out there. So we found a place for it. We didn't want it to be one of them cash grabs.
No, we want it to be a book also that you can read if you aren't into the podcast.
Yeah.
Because, like...
Also, as well, the whole parent thing, it's got to be... one of the good things about it is entertaining, even if you haven't got kids
Yeah,
as well,
just
seeing
our
other
funny
people's
stories.
lives.
Yeah, exactly.
And not loads of... There's not too many niche references to the podcast, so you
I'd
don't need to
say-
have listened to the podcast.
Yeah.
I actively avoid listening to the podcast.
No, do that as well.
Do that as well, but
But you don't need to.
And ahead of the live shows, obviously, you're both wearing black outfits today. You look like... I feel like I'm about to get my shoes sprayed or something to go and play Quasar. Oswald Mosley look. Is this the kind of outfit that you got? You probably fully dressed in black today? Rob's got a bomber jacket on, like Combat 18 over there. Like, what's going on?
Well, what happened
You got a gun sight on the corner of that.
No,
What is
that's
that?
it's a Stony, mate. Get the badge. I'm getting the badge in. No, it was basically we went on Lorraine and wore the same outfits by accident. So today,
we both paid it back.
I paired it back. I'm going to wear my Stone Island jacket because there's no way Josh has got a Stone. Have you got any Stone? He wears
of course not.
them sort of Scandi sort of zip-up jacket. You know what I'm talking about.
That looks like a foreign detective series, that kind of thing. Yeah.
It could be Josh Widdicombe or Sandy Tosvig. Same clothes.
That's what you thought when you were booking who to do the podcast with.
Yeah, exactly.
Josh, you're very open and honest about your mental health and everything during the podcast, which is a fantastic thing. One of those things which has helped people out. Was that difficult to make that kind of leap to talk about it? Obviously, it being World Mental Health Day this week and everything as well.
No, but it wasn't actually because you forget in a way. It was more difficult when you're like, oh God, this is going to come out and people are going to listen to it.
Yeah.
But actually, when I think one of the reasons it's feel very honest, the podcast, is that we almost forget it's being recorded at points. Do you know what I mean? So you're just telling Rob, and then you're like, oh God.
Well, I think I think the listeners were sort of ready for Josh to realise he was having a tough time before Josh was. So I don't think, from the previous weeks, I don't think it was a surprise. But poor Josh, talking about being a bit anxious. He was really honest on the podcast. It was really good and a really good conversation. But then there was a technical problem. It didn't come out for about 5 days, which isn't great for someone with anxiety.
Yeah.
But it's difficult because we get the same situation with our partners where you forget that you're in your kind of groove and you're talking about stuff. Like you have to put your lives on the podcast, the radio show, the stand-up tour, whatever. But then obviously there are other people in your family that will get comments made about them, about what you've said at the school gates and stuff. So is that something you worry about? Because my other half, Katie's always checking anything that I say, or if you take a photo, watch what's in the background, because people will take the mickey out of our curtains. Do you know what I mean? Have you got that kind of situation with your partners, do you two?
Yeah, well, I'm very watchful of what I say about Rose, I'd say.
Yeah. There's a lot he wants to get off his chest.
Yeah. You should hear me, bloody, until the mics come up.
Come to the live shows.
Yeah, wait till the tour.
I'd say up north, not the London ones, in case Rose is there.
Once we hit Cardiff, it's going to go off, mate. Manchester Arena.
The problem is, we talk about what we're doing, so Rose and Lou haven't really got any stories to tell people because if they listen, we've done it. So that's a bit. So I try and be careful, and I don't, give away sort of too much, and where the kids go to school and all that kind of stuff. You've got to be sensitive to that. But the way I look at it is, the kids will grow up. They probably won't want me to share it, but I'm just gonna have to go, look, we're in a house here. We've got bills.
Absolutely.
Unless you can find that extra bit of money, I'm going to keep talking about it.
Get 16 paper rounds. Or
we're about to do a flight soon for the first time with all the kids together, all different ages. You guys have covered this in the podcast in terms of what can be the hell of being on a plane with kids. How was it? Any advice for if you're sticking all the kids on the plane to go on a holiday somewhere?
What age are we talking?
We've got 9 months, 4 years, and a 12-year-old.
I'll stop you there. Don't go.
Don't do it. I worry whether it's going to be a nightmare.
The youngest needs to be 4, right?
Really?
Until you enjoy it.
Wasn't there one flight that you had that Katie was telling me about that you just had an absolute nightmare?
And so this is coming back from Tenerife. Right, I thought Tenerife was Spain. It's not. It's near Morocco. Okay, so it's 4.5 hours. It's not 2 hours like you expect. Yeah. I had a 3-year-old and 18-month-year-old. On the way back, the 3-year-old wasn't well. 18-month-old. Oh, I keep doing that. I forget told off. An 18-month-old. So the 3-year-old wasn't well, slept on my wife's lap, so she could get up. She was by the window. I held an 18-month-old like that in my hands, like a bag of sugar, for 4.5. Because they haven't got a seat, they can't watch an iPad, so you just hold them and they look at you. And then in front was an old, there was an old lady. When old ladies have got an old man have that sort of hair that you sort of feel like it's sort of all a bit wiry. And I don't know what it is, but when they're like toddlers, kids' hands are so strong.
Oh my God,
They just couldn't grab onto anything and rip it. I was like, if my daughter grabs that hair, she's ripping her head off. Just be holding her head like a Game of Thrones. So I need to go to the toilet. I didn't know how to go to the toilet because I need to go to the toilet, but my wife couldn't hold her. So I'm holding the baby, trying to go away, and then it's going everywhere because I'm holding her. And then afterwards, I need to go again. It's a 4-hour flight. You did it twice. I'm getting older. Who went, why don't you just sit down? And I was like, that's a good idea because then it's not going to go everywhere. I can just sit down and hold the baby.
I love that you discuss tactics with Lou.
Yeah, a little sit down wee. She's there loving life. It's not nice having a kid that's not well, but also it's quite easy sometimes, isn't it? They just sleep on you a bit hotter than usual. So then she would just sit. So I went back and my daughter was eating like a French stick thing. So I had her on my lap like that. And I thought, this is perfect. I'm going like that. And then she's eating the French stick and I pick her up like that. And then of course, I was like, of course, she's eating all that French stick. That was quick, like that. Pull my trousers and pants up. I'm then with one hand and I've all tied up. I've got her in my hands and I'm walking forward and I'm like, something don't feel right. She's dropped the French stick. What's it called, the end of the French stick?
The end.
The knob? Is it the knob?
It is the knob.
Yeah, so I've got the knob in my pants. The knob of the bread in my pants, and I'm like, that feels but I'm walking, so well, this felt weird. Anyway, I sit down, it's in me. The bread's in me. The knob's in me. The knob of the bread is inside me, and I'm just sat there holding a baby. I'm like, well, that's 2 hours of that. I couldn't get it out. It's awful. So have a great holiday.
Thanks, Rob. Cheers. Yeah, can't wait to
I recommend sliced bread.
In the book, is there any guidance to parents as to whether they should pass on the choice of their football teams to their children or whether the kids should choose themselves? And secondary question, do we have junior Agunas and Pilgrims or not?
I would never pass on my football team. It'd be strange for a child in London to support Plymouth.
It's quite cool though.
It's a bit different, isn't it?
It's all right for me because people go, why do you support Plymouth? Well, because I'm from Plymouth. But when they were like, oh, I've only been to the game once,
So I think that Plymouth will probably be their second team, but they're going to fall in love with a team they can see more often.
As long as it's not West Ham.
You're East London, it's going to be West Ham.
It's not going to be West Ham.
What's wrong with West Ham?
I'll just take them to that ground and they'll never want to support that team.
Oh, okay.
It's awful.
Where do you want to go instead, Millwall?
No, I think, where would I...
Orient.
Yeah, I mean, that would...
Oh, that's not much from Plymouth, is it? No. What's the glamour club there?
Active step down somehow.
Well, if you take an Amul, you're dressed for it, the pair of you. Anyway, let's tear up. Josh, am I right in saying that one of your kids started school in September? Is that right?
Yeah.
Our little one has just started nursery ahead of reception, and you can see all the mums getting on, but the dads are quite bad at sorting out. We haven't got a WhatsApp group or anything like that. Are you guys? Are you in WhatsApp groups? How's all that kind of? Group. Are dads good at chatting with each other and organising things or not? As far as
it's mainly, I'm quite active in the WhatsApp group. I'm just having a look now. It's mainly the mums that are active in the WhatsApp group, but it's so far. The WhatsApp group, it's not got to banter stages yet. So
Not quite the banter.
no.
I've got 2 at school, and I'm prominent in the WhatsApp group.
You're the main, the
no
leader.
one
I'd say-
finds him funny.
No, basically they all talk about quite serious stuff because I had to go into school today with like trainers and also shoes for something else because
Yeah.
they were getting changed. And then someone said, "Are you sending them in with shoes?" And then I replied, "Why? Who's been sending them in barefoot?" No response.
Oh,
Bit of fun, isn't
It's a
it?
good bit of banter. It's a serviceable bit of banter.
I don't think I think I'd have to take them out of school if that happened.
So what I'd suggest is, Josh, and you, because I'm a couple of years into school now, is
Yeah.
you need to be quite busy with it early doors. Organise a dad's drink, get everyone really drunk.
Yeah.
It's a mixed WhatsApp group. I can't go onto the mums and dads WhatsApp group and go, Dads, shall we go for a drink?
Yeah, someone's got to look after the kid. All right then. Oh, can your wife come out to me? What do you want me to ask?
Every WhatsApp group has a splinter group.
There's
I
always
think
a
that is
splinter
fair
group.
enough.
Yeah.
And we play five-a-side football. Get a five-a-side football going. That's good for morale.
What a five? Get a five. I'm not going to start a
I
five.
play on Sundays with all the dads. But
That's
they're
amazing.
all a bit older. They're all about 45. I'm 36. I'm not a prime Messi.
It's weaving
I've
round.
got that turn of pace that a 45-year-old, no matter how fit they are, well, that 40 to 30 gap. It's
Why are
unbelievable.
all the dads so old?
I don't know. I think I'm from South East London. We start early.
Going early on it.
Yeah, but everyone else is from South East London.
I don't know what they're up to. Too busy with their careers.
Drop off or pick up? Who's got it? Who's got it better? The dropper offers or the picker uppers? I'm a dropper offer.
Are you?
Yeah. Well, you work in the afternoons.
I've got no choice. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I like the
normally
drop-off.
I normally do more drop-offs and then go to work as opposed to. Do you know what I like with a pickup though? I love the gossip. And
Yeah.
I like stirring it as well. So I'll pick up little things like, oh, you've seen that they're having that party down there, but someone else would put that on the same day. I'm just saying, it's treading on toes, isn't it? What do you think? And
Isn't
then
it weird
just stand back.
You also, as well, at the very beginning, when you don't know who's who, you do develop kind of an irrational dislike or prejudgment on certain people as well, I think, other parents. And you get to know them and they're absolutely fine. Do you know what I mean?
Yes,
Yes.
yeah, you can. That is.
Oh, or it could go the other way.
Yeah, exactly.
You could like them and then you get to know them and they're awful. That's an option.
No, I'm being quite lucky. They're all right actually. All the
Yeah.
school parents.
Yeah.
They are good.
They're actually all fine. There's not one sort of you expect one absolute wrong. What about you? You're looking like there's an absolute wrong.
No, you see, the game I'm trying to play because Rocco, my son, is also 4 weeks into like reception year.
Yeah.
The game I'm trying to play is identify who the caretaker is. I'm sort of like trying to because his name's up on the gate,
But you've not seen him.
I don't know who he is yet. So like, there's about sort of 5 dads that I've so far wrongly identified as the school caretaker, and I still haven't worked it out.
Tracky bottoms is normally a good giveaway.
But there was a bloke in shorts the other day wearing a Spurs shirt, and I thought that's got to be him.
Could
But
be
it
him.
wasn't. It was
Really?
a dad. Just he must be a postman.
The
or something.
VMOP's the giveaway.
With the trolley with a squeak.
I've not seen a VMOP since year 6 at school. I might get one from my house, but a mini version. Why don't we use them? Because obviously
They're
they're
great.
big for the
Great,
hall.
yeah.
I love a VMOP.
We've got a steam mop. You ever tried a steam mop, either of you
They're
two?
decent, the steam mops.
Pretty
yeah.
good. Pretty good. Good.
But I like the idea of feel like I'm really just waving it in. I feel like a
Polish it off
like
afterwards.
a whale taking in plankton.
Have you done a VMOP?
No, but I've just seen it and I wanted to like a telly on wheels. Remember telly on wheels?
Yes.
Sorry.
Yeah. V-mop sounds like a ride
I'm
on
in the Peter
town.
Kay's writing room. eh?
So a bit of a personal question, but I'm 45, so my mates are all that kind of age. Thanks,
Do you
Rob.
wanna come play football?
Yeah, no, thanks very much. Weave round us in defence. A few of my friends are starting to have the chat about getting the snip.
Oh.
Yeah.
So is that a conversation that's been in any of these WhatsApp groups that you're in, or anything
What, in the
like?
school WhatsApp group 4 weeks in? Can you imagine that? 4
Right,
weeks
who's
in?
had enough of this? Let's go and get a group deal. Can we all line up and it's one big pair of scissors? Get a VMOP out.
2 in one go.
There has been conversations about that actually.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know what the truth is because you always hear the horror stories. And there was one I worked with a cameraman on a TV show, and he had his done, and he really stuck. He went, "It's 8 ever since." And I was like, "That must be another problem. That can't." It's just 8 ever since.
You've at least got to go get that checked.
I know.
You can't just go like that.
To be fair, I've not seen him for a while.
The smell's the fear that I hear from
smell?
people.
The
The
burn.
smell, the burn, yeah. 'cause
I don't
you're
even know what
awake
it
for
is. I don't know what they actually do.
I
I'll be
think
honest
it's a
with
soldering iron.
you.
Oh, God,
do
what's
you
it?
mean?
Oh, maybe did you do it at the school drop-off? Pop to the design and technology building. No, but I thought you could tie it up and then untie it.
You can
Yeah,
reverse
people
it,
get
right?
reversed.
Can you?
If you got
Yeah.
a soldering iron on there, that ain't getting reversed, is it? Do you know what I
Maybe
mean?
it's not a soldering iron then.
If
Maybe
it's
something
burning
different.
is your worry.
It's the burn, yeah.
If I did get it reversed, though, you'd have to listen to Flip Reverse It, wouldn't you? Have that playing as he goes, come in, you've changed your mind.
Why would you get it reversed?
You can have more. Josh wants more.
No,
You
I
want
don't.
more?
No.
Rose does.
No, she doesn't.
I can
though.
sense it.
She's
She
made
does,
a
mate.
decision.
No, we had a little chat.
So how many? You two have got 2 each, right? Have you got 2 each?
Yeah.
So
You're on 3, right?
3's like 1 to 2 is like your life turns upside down.
Yes.
3's
Yeah.
just ridiculous. I don't know how people have 4 children. It would just be
Yeah. Why
chaos.
You've start running out of hands to cross the
Yeah.
road.
No, yeah, exactly. So
I
doing
just-
like little shifts.
What have you got?
19, 17 and 4. So, it's
Yeah.
just...
That's your gap.
Yeah, don't burn
So
too
how-
early because you just never know when it
So
might
did
be
you have it
needed again.
reversed, or just you kept it flowing?
No,
Okay.
it gets active.
It's still flowing. Okay. It's like a water fountain. You don't want to turn it off. You never get rid of the alarm scale. Keep it flowing. It's a lot easier, isn't it?
19, 17 and 4.
Yeah, it doesn't get easier,
So
guys.
how different is it now that that gap when you're a bit older and your experience?
I've-
Did you enjoy it more? Or
Yeah, been
Yeah.
more mindful and more present of it, and also realising that they're a lot more destructible than you think they are, kind of thing.
They're a lot more
Indestructible,
Indestructible.
rather.
Okay,
Yeah, what?
That's it, yeah. The head goes back on really easy. Yeah.
But like,
But
Indestructible.
yeah, I think that's a key
Yeah.
point because I was in a totally wrong mental state to sort of be having kids, and that now because when we was writing the book, I was doing all these stories about what I did, and they're funny stories, but I'm like, you were a maniac. But I feel even now a lot more measured, and I imagine like
Yeah.
another 10 years on that gap, you can sort of approach it in a more calm. Going, we know it's fine. That, and Ramesh actually told me a good thing when I was worried about the baby coming. He went, just look out the window. It's quite busy. Humans, it does work. It sort of does work. Humans being babies and growing.
But have you sustained any like parental injuries? I mean, I've got terrible sciatica at the moment because our youngest daughter Stella is really heavy. She's like 23 pounds or something like that. She's like a little
Okay.
unit, like a little unit.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be nice to hold on the plane.
Oh, this is it. Are you saying
At
that?
least you're sitting down.
Exactly.
Where
that's
you
what-
going?
We're going to be going this summer coming up, so I've got a bit of time
Do you know
to get.
where you're going?
We're going to go to Portugal.
Okay, is
Oh,
it
that's
a
not
short
too
Not
flight?
too bad.
Not too
Because I want
far.
to get lured into, like you say, you think Tenerife is 2.5 hours. It ain't.
No.
At least Portugal's definitely Portugal.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Rather than getting a bit confused by the boundaries and stuff as well. So you've had some amazing guests on the podcast. Any people surprised you with what they've come on and told you about?
Denise Welsh was a really good one recently.
Yeah,
'cause
that
she
was great, wasn't it?
Really opened up and about sort of. She's really funny and got really great stories. And then she also about how difficult she found it after her first. And her first is Matt Healy from the 1975.
Yeah, crazy.
And it was amazing. She was saying about like. All that stuff was quite deep, but then it was really funny when she was talking about, her normal demographic is sort of a bald northern bloke going like, can I have a photo of a loose woman? And she said, but when she goes to a 1975 concert, she's the mother of Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I bet.
The way she's treated's amazing, and I really enjoyed
Yeah,
that
she
one.
was great. I think it's.
Oh, we did Gary Neville, didn't we? He's coming
We've
up.
just done Gary Neville.
Oh, how
That
was Gary?
exciting. Awful.
He's great.
He was great. He was brilliant. I loved Gary Neville.
What age are his kids?
12 and 13.
12 and
Oh, right, okay.
13.
But he's very intense and direct, and
Yeah.
he's
But
saying
he seemed to imply that with his kids, he's a much calmer figure.
and sillier.
Yeah, sillier.
But then he would say things like, I would absolutely not accept that. I'm like, okay, it doesn't seem like you're the fun younger brother now, does it?
He has passed on his football team.
Yeah,
hasn't he?
exactly.
Let's just summarise this. Listen to the
Okay.
podcast, Parents in Hell. The book is out today. What's the name of the book?
Parenting
Right
Hell,
now.
the book.
Simple as that.
yeah.
And then tickets to go and see you guys live.
Yeah.
In your black outfits, your bomber jackets.
Yeah.
People can go and get them like straight away.
Yeah,
right?
we are doing. Shall I find out
why
what
not?
we're doing?
Go on.
Why not use it as a bookmark?
Yeah,
For the
exactly.
book.
That
we
would
are
be
doing
perfect.
Wembley Arena, the O2, Cardiff Motorpoint Arena. We are
Manchester
doing
Arena.
Manchester Arena, Birmingham Arena,
Further north-
Nottingham Arena. In April next year, you can get tickets off my website or just the arenas direct.
And as soon as you
Google it.
go over the Watford Gap, Josh, you start talking about your other half. That unlocks
yeah.
that content.
Do you know what? London's more or less sold, so I can do that as a sell.
Yeah, yeah. That's because I let rip about certain family members north of Watford, and
Yeah.
because when you're south, there's grasses.
Nottingham. Oh my God, I'm going to really give it both barrels. to Nottingham.
Josh Widdicombe and Rob Beckett, thank you so much.
Cheers,
Cheers.
thanks, lads.
Cheers, guys.